we can pursue both profit and purpose together. They're not, they can go hand in hand as long as we have a good idea. And that's going to bring us to a better world to live in. So really, really, thank you so much. I remember maybe a few years ago, I'm not sure where did I hear it from, but then someone said that social enterprise would be an old term because every business is going to work on achieving sustainability. And now it's really realizing, I'm really, really touched by seeing all these right now. Thank you so much for the hard work that you've been doing. Right now, we're having the last panel of today, and it's going to be on a very interesting topic on sustainable supply chain. The panel will talk about regional snapshots of current supply chains and what role can Hong Kong play in contributing to more sustainable supply chains over the coming decades. So please welcome on stage our facilitator, Mr. James Cunningham, Director of Sustainability and Business from Speed Sourcing. Please welcome. And he's going to talk with Ms. Connie Kay. Please also welcome Ms. Kay on stage. Welcome. Please take your seats. And when our guests are ready, I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Cunningham.
Testing. Good afternoon. Thanks for sitting through the middle of the afternoon. I was watching this event this morning online, and there was a lot of talk about end products, fashion, food, ESG tech, making it Hong Kong, adapting it for Hong Kong from abroad. All great conversations. Thank you, Invest Hong Kong, for running this one. Now it's time to talk about how do we get our products from elsewhere abroad to Hong Kong, and how do we make that process green, ESG friendly. It's not the most sexy topic, but one that's very crucial because for those that don't know, we import most of the food in Hong Kong that we eat. And I heard at a previous show that if we did not import food, we'd last about 2 days without importing food. 2 days. So supply chains are very important. With that, I do have here Connie Kay from Crane Worldwide Logistics. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I guess to start off with, maybe sort of introduce yourself more broadly and your company and your role in Crane.
Thank you for having me in this event, and I feel very honored to be your panelist in this session. So my name is Connie Kay, and I'm the Global Account Management Regional Director in Crane Worldwide Logistics, specifically for the Asia-Pacific region. So I have a lot of interaction of the global accounts that I'm talking to and emphasize in Asia-Pacific region. And those customers actually they spread across the various vertical market like high-tech, industrial, life science, automotive, energy sectors. Yeah.
Wonderful. Can you expand a bit more on your maybe Crane's business in Hong Kong? I realize that you have some operations in ASEAN as well, but to Hong Kong, just a bit on that, the work you guys do in this office here.
Okay. So actually, our role in the logistics service provider. So we connect the supply chain from manufacturing of the goods by the customers to the final destinations in the supply chain to the final delivery. So we are also the communicators and also the consolidators to help the customer, our customer, to optimize the supply chain of their product.
I heard consolidate and optimize, two very important words. I think we all know what sustainability means. We're aware of what supply chain means, but when we marry the two together, what does that really mean for a supply chain? So I'm going to go back to fundamentals with you. Can you define for me what a sustainable supply chain actually means to someone who's actually in the business?
Actually, we all become increasing awareness of the importance of the supply chain sustainability in the industry. So we also see the importance of incorporate the ESG, which is environmental and social and governance, into the consideration of the business activities during the supply chain. So the long-term goal for the supply chain is to design the sustainability and always in our mind. And and actually also reducing the huge amount of the pollution and the waste from the during the process of the production, and also generated by the socialized, the globalized system of the production. Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious that most business communities recognize the importance of ESG. It's about timelines, it's about investments. In terms of Hong Kong's business community recognizing the need to pivot to ESG quite rapidly, quite aggressively, quite intentionally, as seen from your role at Crane and Crane itself in Hong Kong, what are you seeing in terms of that pivot? Quite aggressive, can you just speak a bit to that, that change in direction? Like, it's not just, we cannot continue business as usual.
Yeah.
We must have ESG mindsets incorporated within the workforce, as well as with leadership, regionally, globally, locally. So can you just speak a bit to your role at Crane and this pivot towards ESG and what's that meant for Crane in Hong Kong?
Okay.
Mindset changes, things like that.
Yeah. So with the supply chain actually account for 80% of the carbon emissions. So recreating the sustainable production networks will help the world to meet the environmental goals. So Hong Kong will play a very important role in the process. And Hong Kong is the very big international sourcing hubs. And we also based in the very key location area in like the center of Asia Pacific. And we also, next to the biggest manufacturing, countries in the world is just our neighbors. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that. We'll be talking about Hong Kong's role in a few moments, so I'm glad you brought that up now. I want to turn a bit to how you see the current state of sustainable supply chains in Hong Kong, the developments, any milestones you're looking forward to. Let's start with that. The state of supply chains in Hong Kong as it relates to sustainability.
So as Hong Kong play important international trading centers, so most of the Hong Kong business see environmental, social, and governance consideration for driver of the growth. So actually the finding is that almost 96 of the Hong Kong companies, so they believe that there's a multiple opportunities to improve the environmental and ethical sustainability. Yeah.
In terms of the Hong Kong government's commitments, any actions that they're taking with regards to sustainability in the supply chain, can you speak a bit to that? Because I work in sustainable apparel. Of course, what you do touches on my value chain, but very slightly. You're in it, so in terms of what you're seeing from the Hong Kong government, commitments, actions, can you speak a bit to that? Some positive things you're seeing?
Okay, I think one of the good example is the ocean terminal. So by pooling the 23 berths to serve the ocean line customers, so actually they calculate and eventually cut almost 1,000 waiting time of the vessel company that coming to berth to Hong Kong, and then together with the shortening the waiting time of the vessel berth into Hong Kong, so it also reduced the trucking of the inter-terminal, within the ocean terminal. So I think this is a really good example to when they calculate it per year, it almost reduced around 130,000 marine fuel in each year. So I think this is also a good example, and also by reducing the waiting time, together with reducing the trucking for the inter-terminal. So it also cut almost 130,000 tons of carbon emission per year. So I think this is also a good example. Yeah.
And I think, in the call we had last week, you did mention about Hong Kong International Airport taking measures. Maybe speak a bit to that, because I certainly don't track all of that all the time, but it does hit your operations and what you guys are doing.
Yes. Another good example actually is the Hong Kong Airport Authority. So actually they have done a very outstanding project to demonstrate the best practices of the carbon management of the energy saving in the airport. So they actually have used a tool called WeatherFacts and to measure the hourly data of the passenger flow and also the weather condition like the air temperature and also the solar radiation and also the wind speed and the cloud amount. So, and it can also develop it also developed a very good and automatic model to measure the, the energy saving at the airport. So actually, Hong Kong Airport this year they received Green Airport Award recognition in year 2022 as well. So and they also have a good collaboration with the CLP Power Limited and on Hong Kong Observatory. Yeah.
How long has that International Airports project been going that you just talked about? Has it been 5 years or 10 years? Do you happen to know? How long?
You mean how long?
Yeah, how long has it been going for the actual project?
Oh, I
All
think,
the measurements they're doing.
Yeah, they have developed this project for a number of years already, and it really demonstrates the green airport concept and also saving the energy of the airport. So that's why they have this award this year. But they have been developing this program for a number of years already. Yeah.
So as everyone starts flying now that the restrictions are not so bad anymore, you guys can be proud of walking through our airport. It's much more ESG friendly.
Yeah.
So I want to turn a bit more internally now to Crane. ESG goals, best practices, which I think are really important because people can learn from that. So I guess we can start with, even in my industry, in apparel, which is a very dirty industry, I look to my long-term milestones and long-term goals. But then what makes me feel good is every week when a new client says yes to something, it's a small win. And I know that the small wins over the course of weeks and months and quarters and years does add up to many small wins, which ultimately is big successes. And we see that. I see that in my industry. So quick wins-wise, the small baby steps that is working, very small.
Yeah.
Can you just speak a bit to that?
Actually, some of the quick wins, so I think everyone also think about it, like recycling the paper in the office and also like turning off the electricity in the office during the lunch break and also like controlling the temperature in the air conditioners in the office. So even this is a very, small initiative, but this is a very quick win and very low risk goals to achieve the first step of the sustainability. Yeah.
And I can attest that because I'm with a small SME in Hong Kong, and we've been recycling now for 1.5 years in the office. It only started 1.5 years when I started there. That to me is slow, but they're doing it. So it took some time, but they're coming around, and the mindsets are changing. So we are going in the right direction. So you did mention to me last week about the Crane Cares program. Can you just speak a bit to that so people are aware of what you guys are actually doing on that?
Okay. So actually, Crane mission is to respond to our employees and also to our customers, our client, and our contractor and community in the pillars of the different kind of sustainability and sustainable program. So like it also in our corporate level, so we also involve the labor and human rights and also sustainability procurement, and then also the laws and ethics and the environment. So like what you say about the Crane Care, so which is also initiated by our corporate office. So what the Crane Care is, we actually have the active participation from our employees in local and regional and global level. So some of the example like contributing the reforestation efforts by planting the trees and to conserve the local biodiversity and also restore the natural resources. So another example is like teaming up with our customers to try to reduce the waste and also generated from the shipping and also the installation process. So the last example is like building the offices, you know, within the carbon neutral development guidelines. So those are action actually contributing to supporting the social and also the environmental goal of in the immediate community. So no matter how big or small the initiative, I think it definitely helps to increase the awareness of the sustainability in the company, in our industry. So I think this is a really good crane care program that our employees are very actively in, participating those programs. Yeah.
You mentioned workforces, and then you said global, regional, and local. And since we're in Hong Kong and this event is about Hong Kong, can you speak a bit to, on a local level in your office in Hong Kong, when it comes to sustainability, maybe not practicing it fully, but being aware of it and letting the awareness maybe start conversations internally? Can you speak a bit to that, whether it's about a mindset shift? What's that like in your office? I mean, I certainly have my challenges in my office, but for Hong Kong, that in some ways is quite a traditional society, let's be honest, but we have to progress and pivot to ESG. For you guys, what have those conversations been like in the office? Have they started? Can you just elaborate a bit on that?
Okay, you mean the challenges, right?
Or just ESG conversations in your office that maybe cause it may not be a mindset shift, but it's definitely an increasing in awareness, just talking about it out loud, even in the kitchen during lunch, small meetings. Is that something that you guys will start doing, have done already, have finished? What is that like for you guys right now in Hong Kong?
Actually, one of thing is it is driven by also from our corporate, but it also cascade down to all the local offices. And to be honest, the challenge is making a change to the people mindset. Sometimes it takes some time. So, and but like what you say, so changing the people, the behavior, so may not really take in the day one, but it may slowly change the mindset to save more, resources and, like energy or, promote more sustainability in our company. Yeah.
So carrying on with some success stories, you did mention your charter flights and consolidation. You mentioned consolidation a few moments ago. I found it very interesting that you guys are doing it. It makes sense. Can you just speak a bit to that for the audience?
Okay, so one of the success story from our company is we understand that the carbon emission actually have consume quite a lot of energy, wastage, in our industry. So it almost account like 80% of the carbon emission in our industry. So and also when shipping the shipments for the company by shipment basis, so we found out that the space is not really fully utilized by the airline. So starting this year, actually, like our company, Crane Worldwide Logistics, we are launching the weekly charters from Hong Kong to US, which is one thing is we have a full control of all the space, allocation of the customer shipments in our flight. And also by doing this, actually, when we calculate the carbon emission in per kilo basis of the company, of the customer shipments, actually it has really greatly reduced the emission cost per kilo. And also it deliver the financial profit to the customer by cost saving as well. Another thing I talk about the Hong Kong charter is when we build the cargo into the container. So in our industry, it's called ULD, which is called unit load device. So, and we need to have some material to secure the cargo into the ULD, the unit load device. So we are using like the pallet and the shrink wrap plastic and also strapping. So actually, we are recycling that. So that means that we are running the charter, so we are using those material to secure the cargo in the containers, and then by mill run returning back the aircraft to Hong Kong. So actually we're moving back those securing material back to Hong Kong and reuse again when we have the next flight to Hong Kong. So I think this is also good to save more waste in the economy and also promote more good environmental goals for in our industry. Yeah.
You mentioned shrink wrap, and I used to work in events, and I used to see them. My office is in Mongkok, and when I'm outside my office, I see people wrapping goods on a pallet and wrapping it in shrink wrap, and I look at myself, like, are they going to recycle that, or what are they going to do with it? It makes me cringe inside, all that shrink wrap I see. What I did not know you guys do, and you told me this, is not just the track and trace system, because I mean a lot of folks are doing that, but I am seeing this online. You guys are doing it, the CO2 footprint consumption calculator that you do. Maybe speak a bit to that initiative.
Yes, so because of the increased awareness of the sustainability in our industry, so we also, our corporate, of course, office also developed a track and trace system. It's not just like what you say, every logistics service provider may also have the track and trace system, but our system also have the capability of calculating the carbon footprint performance of the shipment of the goods being transported. So it also enhance the customer, the capability of measuring their carbon emission, calculator, so that they can have quantify the carbon emission that that shipment consume, and also find a way how to reduce the carbon emissions for their shipments being shipped. Yeah.
Speak a bit to the EVs that you mentioned, the delivery vehicles, delivery trucks that you mentioned before. I found that quite interesting. I know that I've seen on news that Amazon Prime is doing it with EV delivery trucks. I don't know if they're autonomous, but they're definitely EV. So maybe I'll let you speak to what you guys are doing there.
Okay, so this is also one of our current major future opportunities that we are now have the open discussion with our subcontractors to invest in the electric truck instead of using the gasoline truck to pick up and deliver cargo. So I think this is also a good move to how to save more gasoline and also promote the green in the city by using the electric truck. So this is also in the discussion in the progress. And also, actually our US corporate office and also Singapore office also already have like the, energy saving, measures in our offices, like the LEED certified office building in our corporate office. And in Hong Kong, actually, we are also actively sourcing energy saving offices, like maybe using more solar panel instead of electricity to reduce the CO2 emission, in our company, in Hong Kong.
I know that you talked about green initiatives, specific goals, and working collaboratively with other partners in your respective corner of the ecosystem. I feel like with the sustainability game and the ecosystem that we're all sort of in or interested in, it's definitely something that we have to work together on. We can't go it alone. It's just impossible. There's just too much to handle and not enough time. So in terms of working collaboratively, as you mentioned before, can you just speak to the folks in Hong Kong in your ecosystem that you are collaborating with on whatever level?
Yeah, actually, our company specific goal is work collaboratively for some of the African carrier and ocean carrier that have especially the green initiative, like Cathay Pacific, so which is also our major African carrier partners, that they do have the commitment to use the sustainable aviation fuel. yeah, that they committed to have used 10% of their total fuel consumption by 2030. So they have this green initiative. So that's why we are very happy to work with them and utilize for their service more to transport our customers' goods via their carrier. So likewise for the ocean carrier, so like CMA, MSC, Hapag-Lloyd, Maersk, some of the name maybe you hear about the ocean carrier. So actually they also committed to use the blend of biofuel, they call biofuel and low sulfur fuel to transport their goods in order to reduce the CO2 emission from the ocean freight shipments. Yeah.
Now I want to turn away from the success stories to some of the challenges, because there's always challenges, especially in ESG. And the question is, what are they? How do we solve them? How much money will it take? How long will it take? How many minds do we have to convince? So I will put you on the spot and ask you about challenges you've dealt with. I have my share of challenges in ESG, but speak a bit to the challenges that you've mentioned before in our previous call.
Yeah, so like before I said the challenge, one of the challenge is of course the changes of the people mindset, like how to influence the our office teammates and colleagues about the mindset of the green and sustainability, and how to save the company electricity, the energy for the quick win, something like that. So another thing is more high level is sustainability actually is very costly. So it also need to invest quite a bit of the money to handle various kind of sustainability program in our company. So for example, we're talking to our subcontractor about the first big investment of the electric trucks to pick up and delivery of our customer cargo, in Hong Kong. So they may think about, oh, that is a very big investment. So they attempted to like hesitate whether we should have this big investment. But we show them about the return on investment, like ROI. So although it's not really happening day one that it can return back the profit overnight, but actually in the long run, it will also have very high ROI in the long run because they don't need to pay so much fuel, when doing all the local transportation. Yeah, so that's the challenge.
Now, we only have a few minutes left. I'm being told by the clock, so I will skip to the very end.
Yeah.
So, we all know that Hong Kong has its legacy strengths. We have our sort of Industry 4.0 strengths. You're in supply chain, which is a very old business, not respected enough. Can you speak to Hong Kong's continued role, maybe what we have to leverage to continue being a leader, not just as a supply chain hub, but as a sustainable supply chain hub, someone that other countries in Asia and around the world look to lead by example and adapt what we do to what they're doing? Can you just speak a bit to Hong Kong's role going to the future?
I think Hong Kong is a very good location to offer the premium location here. So, and I would think that we will continue to be the leading global hub and global sourcing hub in Asia Pacific region. So, and also we have a very good location that we next the border to China. So as you also hear about the Greater Bay Area initiative, so which is a very ambitious scheme to offer and foster the strong growth by integrating Hong Kong, Macau, and also 9 cities in Pearl River Delta in Guangdong province. So actually the trend towards the greater and greener Greater Bay Area. So actually, they also developed a pilot, ecological civilization zone, and also accelerating industrial upgrading with the green development and the low carbon life cycle. So we think that this is a really unique geographical area in Hong Kong that you can't find it in the other region in Asia Pacific. And our next country is also a very big manufacturing site, country in the world. So I do think that in geographically we have this unique feature in the region. So we will continue to lead the global sourcing hub in Asia Pacific region. So I do strongly believe that. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up GBA, and we are really blessed to have that manufacturing zone right across the border. It's just right up north. I mean, it's just very lucky for us.
Yeah.
I mean, as we close in the last minute or so, I'll give you the space to any closing comments you have with respect to supply chains in Hong Kong, high efficiency city, well positioned between mainland China and the rest of the community, frankly. Any closing thoughts that you want to leave folks with from a supply chain brain, thinking ESG?
Okay, so actually, I'm thinking that supply chain actually involve many parties together to bring the product to the market, and also I think the also leading the sustainability, in the region. So we think that sorry. Just hold on. Sorry, just the last comment. Okay. Yeah. So also the drive of the sustainability will be the collaboration between many parties to participate the ESG goal and into the actual business operation in the daily operation. So I do believe that Hong Kong still leading the global sourcing hubs in Hong Kong. So we do believe that we will continue to be leading the sustainability supply chain in Hong Kong. Yeah, out of the Asia Pacific region. Yeah.
Good to end on such a positive, forward-looking note. Anyway, I think that's all we have time for today, everyone. Thank you for sitting through supply chains. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you, Invest Hong Kong, for organizing this. Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again to Mr. Cunningham and Ms. Connie Kay. Thank you very much. Please be seated. A lot of great ideas from operation side and also to employees' practices in the office space. Actually, different industries can have a lot of approaches and work that they can do to respond to sustainability and also take one step forward.